Hi, welcome to the channel. Today we will do the LeetCode daily problem 19 August. So the question is split the array into consecutive subsequences. So the question states that we have been given a non-decreasing sorted array, something like 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and we have to split this array into multiple subsequences, which and the condition is that the subsequences should be of size at least 3, and the subsequences should be consecutive increasing sequence. That is, a sequence can have only something like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 9, 10, 11, 12. So these are valid subsequences because this is greater or equal to 3, and it is a consecutive increasing sequence. This is also greater or equal to 3 in size, and it is consecutive sequence. That is, each number uh, is exactly one more than the previous integer. Whereas something like 1, 3, 4, 5 is not valid because uh, even though it has size greater or equal to 3, but it is not consecutive. So the question is whether can be split uh, this array into, let me see. So what we can do, okay, how do we go something, all right. We need to create two array, two map which has key value and int. So the first map will store the frequency of the elements in the array. 3 has frequency 2, this is 1. 4 has a frequency 2, and 5 has a frequency 2. All right. Now whenever so there is one point that you need to remember, which is that it's always better to insert element to an existing sequence rather than creating a new sequence. For example, if we have a sequence something like 1, 2, 3, and this is an existing sequence, let us suppose, and we find out a new element 4. Now it's always better to insert 4 in the existing subsequence rather than creating a new subsequence from 4 onward, because if we create a new subsequence we will need 5 and 6, at least one occurrence of each element, because the second subsequence should be of size at least 3. So it is always better to insert a new element to an existing sequence. So let us see how can we tackle this. So whenever we see, this is something called map 1, and we will require another map 2, and let me tell you how we will find out the map 2. So let's start with the first element 1. So as soon as we encounter 1, so we try to find out, is there an existing sequence something ending with 0, -1, -2, something like that. So there exist an existing, does there exist an sequence where we can insert one directly. So how do we know there exists a sequence ending at 0? This is what map 2 will tell us. So if there was a sequence ending with 0, so we will store in map 2 something like 0 frequency 1. It means that uh, there is a sequence which is ending at 0. That means we can accommodate an element 1 in that sequence. But initially MP2 is empty. So we know there is no sequence where one can be accommodated. So we have to start a new sequence beginning at 1. So when take a new sequence beginning at 1, so we need to be careful that we have to take at least, so it must contain at least 3 elements. So we have to have 1, 2, 3, decrease the frequency 0, 0, and 1. We found a sequence, and this is a condition where it may break. So if we do not have some of the elements like 2 or 3, then we will just return the false that we cannot form a sequence beginning with 1, and there is no way we can split the array into a sequence subsequence as described in the question. And once we have created this, so we can add something like we have a sequence in mp2 ending with 3 3 1. It indicates that there is one sequence which ends at index at value 3, so that whenever we encounter a 4, we know that there exists a 3, exists a sequence ending with 3, and we could insert it there. Now we come to 2, we see that it is not there. We come to 3, we see there is. So now once we found out 3 it is there. Do we have a sequence ending at 2? We check here, there is no sequence ending at 2. So we need to create a new sequence starting with 3, 4. Whenever we create a new sequence, we just need to have 3 consecutive elements. So here we find 3, 4, 5 are there. If they are not, we will just return false. And once we have created a new sequence, we know that now there is a sequence ending with 5. Edit. We come to 4, 3, frequency is 0. We come to 4, frequency is 1. Do we have a sequence ending with 3? Yes, we have. Insert 4 there and make it 0. And now we do not have a sequence ending with 3, we have a sequence ending with 4. Come to 4, 0, come to 5, 1. Do we have a sequence ending with 4? Yep, we have. So make it 0. Now insert 5, make 6, 1, 5, 0. So yep, we have found the subsequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5. And we never found out where we had to return the false. So let us code this out. So we have written the code. It's nothing but we are following what we had done here. We made a frequency map, we made an ending map, we stored all the frequency of all element in the frequency map. We started traversing the array. We decreased the frequency of that element, and if there exists an sequence with ending num minus 1, we just decrement the sequence and num minus 1 and increment a sequence with num. If no, we need to create a new sequence starting with element num. So we need to first ensure that num plus 1 and num plus 2 are present. If else, if yes, we create one sequence and at the same time ending num plus 2 plus plus. else return false and return true. Let us try this out. So this is end. Let's see how it goes. So right, that's it. Thanks.